Welcome back. This is Rich and Charlie with Operation Legacy's Light to My Path coaching series. And you know, Charlie, we're on step 5 already.
Isn't that something?
Isn't that something? Everybody's completed the first 4 steps, which really focused a lot on awareness, on knowledge, preparation, so that we can now start putting the roadmap and the blueprint together for the future. We're going to be talking about applying the gifts and skills, goal setting, action planning, service to others, and staying the course.
Very good, Rich. Thank you for that. You know, making it happen really talks about action. It's a call to action. You've prepared yourself in the previous material and steps and the exercises. We want you to think about putting what into action. Well, you know what? From birth to present, not only did you have upbringing at home, you went into the military, you learned a lot in the military, you experienced a lot in the military. And when you think about your skills, your talents and abilities, and then putting that into action, we want to just have you think about maybe a couple of things. The first thing is, if time or money were no object, what would you love to do for the rest of your life as a profession, as type of work? If you're not looking for work because you've been in the military and you have a good retirement, then what would you like to do for the rest of your life that incorporate your skills, talents, and abilities, and maybe not necessarily for income, but if it is, you can use it both ways.
That's right. So on page 236, we start with exercise 16, using your talents, abilities, and skills. In exercise 6, you identified the baseline of your skills, talents, and abilities. So this is the starting point. And we developed this exercise where we're asking you to go through each slice of your life wheel and think about how you could use your skills, talents, and abilities to enhance each of those areas. This is about practicing how to do this as we get into the goal setting a little later. The skill development, is also critical because we know that we're not going to stop learning, so we're going to start with where we are now, and then we're going to continue to learn as we move forward.
Right. You know, one of the other things, as you're speaking of your skills and talents and abilities, is that take a look at the industries in which you want to work in, or perhaps a business that you may want. When you think, you can Google, with today's technology, you can Google the fastest growing industries, the fastest growing jobs. So take advantage of that. And it would be sad for you to spend a lot of money and time and preparing yourself for an industry that is declining just because you have a passion for it. If it's a declining industry or business, then maybe there's a new way of doing things in that industry. But the point is, get into an industry or a job or a profession that is climbing and growing, not only locally but internationally.
Charlie, Proverbs 18:15 also says, "The heart of the discerning acquires knowledge, for the ears of the wise seek it out." So that reinforces what you've been saying. Go into an inquiry mode.
Right.
Do some Googling, do some research, find out what's out there. You might be getting an itch to start your own business too. And there's good ways to do that and foolish ways to do that as well. So if you think I might want to apply my skills and talents to running my own business, I highly recommend that you either volunteer or get a part-time job in that particular business. Also seek out mentors and people that are already running that business that would be willing to share that with you. But I had a friend that his dream was to own an ice cream shop, Charlie, and what he really enjoyed was the feel of community and kids eating ice cream and families gathering. But he made some unwise decisions. He went into a place that did not have the traffic flow. The rent was too expensive. He found out there were all kinds of problems with training and working with staff because he actually took his military savings and he sunk it into this large ice cream store that then required employees and everything, and it was the opposite of what he hoped it would be. He almost went bankrupt going through this, and it really created a couple years of a lot of stress for him and his family because they got themselves into a hole that was not fun at all, and they had to dig themselves out, and they were all working 2 and 3 jobs just to pay the rent on the ice cream store and so forth. Now, if he would have gotten a part-time job in an ice cream store and then became friends with an owner or maybe someone that was in that industry before, he could have learned a whole lot, which has saved him a lot of heartache going down the wrong path.
Thank you, Rich, for sharing that. When you think about your own business, there are several things we want you to think about. There's a traditional business, which is brick and mortar. like the ice cream store story that Rich just told you. That's brick and mortar. That's traditional business. There is non-traditional business on the internet. And in the advent of the internet, there were many businesses that started and just went belly up. But over the last 20 years, internet business and technology, the way it's thriving now, is extremely successful. But here's the caveat. You have to do your due diligence. You have to study the industry or business that you want to go into, whether it's traditional or non-traditional business. There is an entity called SCORE. If you Google SCORE, S-C-O-R-E, it's volunteers of senior executives that were in particular industries. They will give you free advice. They volunteer their time, and they're all over the country. Maybe that's one way of doing your due diligence and doing your investigation. In Rich's story, had this young man gone through a proper process of doing the due diligence and study, he would have known that you do time studies, you do traffic studies, and that brings up statistics that when he's weighing should I or shouldn't I, that would have been proven right there. So the message in perhaps a business is for you. Make sure that you do your due diligence, and that simply means get with the people who are successful in the type of business or industry that you want to get into. And as Rich said, maybe you want to volunteer your time there for 2 months, a month, 3 months. Because when you're down, boots on the ground, you're going to know pretty quickly if that's something that you look forward to.
That's right, Charlie. Thanks for that. So my takeaway to this is, as I'm practicing applying my gifts and talents to the different areas of the life wheel, is this. You're getting ready to make an investment with your time, talent, and treasure in your life plan moving forward. Wherever you are in your transition, you may just not be satisfied where you are right now in your current job and you want to move to one that's more fulfilling. You might be getting ready to be separated from the military. You might, be out of work right now. But you're getting ready to invest your time, treasure, and talent in an area where you want it to pay off. You want it to use your gifts and talents so you can have a strength to be successful. You want it to align with your passions. You want it to be in line with God's plan for you. And you want to be able to do it with integrity and character so that you can share the fruits. You can bear that good fruit that Charlie was talking about, and that you can really have a life of meaning. So that's my takeaway, Charlie. Would you like to close with other thoughts?
Yeah, the only other takeaway is that what we have found statistically over the last few years is that folks that are transitioning from the military back into civilian life, approximately 40% go on to formal education, whether it's junior college or university. And one of the things that we have found is that if you do not align your study courses toward an industry that will lead you to a profession that you really love, you're going to waste a lot of time and a lot of money. So make sure that when you're talking to your educational counselor, that you align the classes or the courses that lead you to an industry in which you have a passion. Again, if time or money were not an object, what would you choose? What would you select in your course of work or industry or business and then get paid for it? I mean, that is really what you're looking for, to have a passion about what you do and then get paid for it. What's better than that?
That's right. Thanks, Charlie. So think about applying your gifts and talents. Think about all areas of the life wheel. Think about where you can visualize yourself working and being happy and effective. And then come on back, and we're going to get into exercise 17. What do you really want in life?
Thank you, and more to come.